All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Historian Reacts. I'm Professor Calhoun, and we are going to be continuing on with our playthrough of Assassin's Creed 3. It's been a few days since I recorded the last few, actually about a week. So we're going to see if we can do a few videos here in succession. We're just going to be starting the playthrough with Connor. So I'm going to go ahead and start with our profile. I went ahead and cut through the outside the animus stuff, so we should be launching right into things. Okay. 1760s, so this would be towards the more in the middle of the 7 Years' War.
Zit one day star.
Onisa Jerdha.
Ya otana guanek guanek.
Ratonhnhaké, te wat kalichi runyana. Runajugedo na daratu danu yagodunis.
I'm curious to know if the voice actors are actually members of the Mohawk. I'd be curious to see that. Okay, so we are here in what I believe is supposed to be a Mohawk village. I will fully admit, you know, where I'm knowledgeable and where I'm not, and I will fully admit I don't know a lot about Mohawk society. So this is going to be kind of us exploring together. I mean, that seems to be hemp over there, which makes sense. That would have been a useful tool. These settlements like this with walls would have been made a lot of sense because, again, a lot of Mohawk would have been warring with other peoples, indigenous peoples, as well as like French and English at various points. We also would have had, or there also would have been, you know, probably actually less war prior to the outbreak of the 7 Years' War, just simply due to the fact that, like, the Mohawk were part of the collection of nations known as the Iroquois Confederacy. So that probably would have provided a good amount of stability in the area to a certain extent. But also, one thing that was cut out that I don't know if you all saw was that there's a brief mention of Connor's mother, in which he said, you know, that he was basically treated as one of the people, despite his like ancestry. Obviously, hate them as his father. I think that was mentioned in the previous one. That would have made a lot of sense. Kinship networks in a lot of indigenous cultures in indigenous North America were pretty fluid. They were not quote unquote race based the way that European society was. And in fact, a lot of people who were not of indigenous descent whatsoever would find themselves actually brought into the community. Captive taking, that was a big part of it, was to actually find new members to kind of bring into the kinship network. So again, Connor having that kind of ancestry probably would not have made a big deal or been a big deal whatsoever. Okay, they're talking about concerns about so that phrase is odd. Strange men who shoot fire from their hands. They know what guns are at this point. They've been the Mohawk people, the Iroquois have been using guns for a while now. This idea that they live in stone cities, there would have been trade going on between indigenous peoples and European colonists. The kids would have known this too. So that's a little strange comment there. They're kind of making them out to be almost more archaic than they or more, not archaic, more naive about European culture than they probably would have been. Okay, classic drawing straws, shortest one or lots. Oh, 100. That's a really long time to hide. Oh my gosh. Okay, so now we're doing kind of getting a tutorial for Connor's like investigation. Also, I keep saying I'm calling him Connor because that's the anglicized name he goes by. I'm gonna try to actually use his indigenous name. I don't remember what it is. They briefly showed it earlier, um, but it's what a lot of people call him like online, and I just, it's the one that stuck with me because it's anglicized. So I'm gonna try to see if I can actually learn his actual Mohawk name. Okay, interact here. Okay, this is part of the find all the children without making a mistake. Do I have eagle vision? No, I don't. Okay, can I climb? Okay. So it's very funny. I used to always make fun of people who are terrible at like playing games on like live streams, and now that I'm doing it, it's actually quite difficult to like chat and do this at the same time. Okay, not there. I think I already checked this. Oh, here's someone. Okay. Analyze clue. Okay, maybe over here. There we go. Oh, nope. Can I climb? Oh, I can climb. Okay. Can I go up? Apparently not. Alright, let's see. Okay, there we go. There's someone. Okay, that's 3 out of 4. Okay, so last one. I don't remember finding the. Oh, there they are. I think. Oh no, wait, that's a fox. Okay. I mean, if I were gonna hide, I would hide on top of this rock here somewhere. Like, try to get some elevation. Can I jump to that? Oh, nope. All right. So I guess this like reduces the range of the little yellow search area. Yes, okay, that is what that does. Maybe here? Maybe here? Okay. Return to the tree. Oh wait, no, they do have eagle vision. I was using the wrong button. Okay. Sorry, y'all. I mean, I will say one thing. This area is probably on like the forefront of like the 7 Years War, aka French and Indian War still. I mean, so the idea that they're playing that far beyond the village walls is a little, I mean, it could have been, but I'm not sure. Are we playing again? Okay.
Oscar, Degini, Asa, Gayerdi.
Okay. So now I need to find a hiding place. Okay. I mean, probably want to go to the farthest one, right? Make sure I don't get found. Okay. Is that supposed to be a white-tailed deer, or? Oh.
What have we here?
It's interesting their bayonets are fixed. That that doesn't make sense actually to me if you're ambushing, because you would want better range and can throw you off balance. But maybe they're muskets and not rifles. So
You look familiar. Where have I seen you before? That wasn't very nice.
Let me go!
Listen to that. He knows English.
Smart for a savage.
More spirited too. We have questions for your elders. Only tell us where your village is, boy, and you can go.
Best do as he asks, child.
I could snap your neck, you know. A little more pressure, and pop. The sad little flame of your life extinguished. You are a nothing, a speck of dust. You and all your ilk, living in the dirt like animals, oblivious to the true ways of the world. The wiser among you recognize the shape of the future. They throw themselves at our feet and beg mercy. But not you, it seems. No. You cling desperately to your ways, too ignorant to know your folly. But I am not unkind. And so I spare you, that you may carry word to your people. Let them know the sooner we are given what we seek, the sooner you can return to your pathetic, empty lives. A fair trade, is it not?
What is your name?
Charles Lee. Why do you ask?
So I can find you.
I look forward to it.
I mean, I think Charles Lee's, like, monologue there was pretty indicative of the way a lot of British and colonists, or just Europeans generally, kind of viewed indigenous peoples as backwards, non-modern, especially unchristian. I mean, for them, that was a big, big issue. Despite the fact that quality of life-wise, indigenous peoples lived in much better conditions on average, probably, than a lot of colonists did, especially in the early years. I mean, when colonization began in this area, in the 1500s, 1600s, there's a lot of colonists just trying to barely scrape by and survive, whereas indigenous peoples, I mean, they're dealing with disease and other things, but, in terms of their diet, what they're able to eat, they're actually eating a lot better than a lot of the colonists are. They're working less. Generally speaking, their services and medicine are basically on par. Also, burning of indigenous villages did happen fairly regularly. Again, a lot of colonists wanted to expand westward, and one of the quickest ways to displace native peoples was to not just kill them, but also burn out their homes so that they couldn't resettle. Okay. Find all the children at given time. Alright. Okay, I guess I have to run this way. Okay, I'm not sure why he wouldn't just duck under there, but Okay. Okay. So. Oh, I see. All right. I guess I can climb up here, maybe? No. Okay, this way. Oh, man. Ratonhnhaké. Okay, that's how you say it. All right.
Onak ti on sa dego. Onak.
Jacek andene.
Zodzi onago ona. Zet sotstek. Ratonhnhaké.
Onakti on zatni gonrat zatni duhage.
Dodek, Dodek!
Aserek. Toga zun haak. Asesege. Nekti zaderi ondarak. Dinawe. Adini kwe gunhage.
Ja, Zadarissa, da Gotkas! Da Gerihu, Akenyagante!
Unurumpa.
So violence against indigenous women and children was incredibly common in a lot of wars. It was common amongst indigenous peoples warring with each other as well, but that it became very commonplace during this kind of expansionist attitude of the colonists as they moved westward, trying to, you know, displace indigenous peoples. So again, wow, we just that was a very quick cutscene. Okay, so now we're 9 years later. I guess we're starting a new mission. Ratonhnhaké okay, we're gathering materials for the clan mother. So I don't know about the political structures of the Mohawk specifically, but there are a number of indigenous societies that had somewhat matriarchal structures. And that said, most common leaders were chiefs who would often, they weren't just like political leaders, but were spiritual leaders as well. And generally had held a rank of kind of first among equals, if that makes sense. A chief was not kind of a despot or tyrannical leader over their community, far more of a kind of spiritual advisor who had accrued great respect. And again, all indigenous peoples had different setups.
Según ino tumnes.
Ha, nektizaha akta da honenu haje. Te dum zohum jokna e de waire. Toga yaho tena tai de waire, toga yah tai de waderio, to are na zawatne.
Tokni kuhak. Wagerek da geri hunyani o nirt zia gerata.
Tigawanio. To agwex yotti nakuni. Zaha gasto zeriohage ziniotne oya.
Nekzia tamdo era ye dene dene gahondage.
Yahta de dum zohum unka e goderiandere wahi. How Yungeni dogas ki dogan deni gueni toya yedenewe ne dosa ya yedini rada ne unzage.
Waderian dat serakson e giga.
Das kena gera.
So had Connor earlier there just kind of talking about the expansion of colonists westward. Again, that was a very much clear encroaching threat. It's the reason for a lot of indigenous peoples kind of banding together to form these kind of communities. I mean, at this point, it's interesting actually. If it's now 1769, it's kind of interesting that this game kind of glosses over Pontiac's War, which is, you know, again, fair ways far away from where we are right now, which is western Massachusetts. Oh. Okay, have to go save. But yeah, Pontiac's War was essentially a number of indigenous peoples banding together after the British essentially won the French and Indian War, 7 Years' War. Got a lot of land in the northern territories of like what would become, you know, British Canada, that used to be, you know, French Canada, and then essentially what you ended up having was a lot of indigenous peoples who were now technically dealing with, were technically under like the holdings of what was the British Empire, but weren't really, because the British barely had any presence out in what was the Midwest at that time. Just a number of forts and other things. And Pontiac, following the words of a prophet by the name of Neolin, which basically encouraged indigenous peoples to expel basically the whites from their land, made a number of successful campaigns against the British, to the point that King George III issued the Proclamation of 1763, which basically said that there would be no settlement of indigenous lands to the west of the Appalachian Mountains. That wasn't because King George III was just, was pro-Native American or anything along those lines. More had to do with the fact that the French, the 7 Years' War, aka French and Indian War, was basically one of the most costly wars in British history up to that point. It was 140 million pounds in debt, the Crown was, and as a result, they didn't want another war. And Pontiac again was making a lot of headway in his war. It ended up being a defeat for Pontiac and his alliance, but it was incredibly costly for the British. And so there was this general understanding that there would not be any immediate westward expansion, which the colonists were not happy about. Again, especially in the southern colonies where there's a real push for land. Okay. Oh, uh-oh.
Nahoda, what got ni guruni?
Yatta wak kwenyo agwego yang gani haraunge. Ga gader harde zinora agwego a seroroge. Gaduga isere yat the gayeri zinigo yung gania. Tont gur hardege. The garungada no on.
Okay. I'll go ahead and head to the marker. I don't think we need any more. So yeah, it's interesting that we kind of fast forwarded through Pontiac's war. Again, Pontiac is that was among the Algonquian peoples, and so in a lot of ways, these are totally different linguistic group really than the Iroquois and others. But it still would have been something they would have known about, and it would have been interesting to hear more, or at least that mentioned.
Yeah, segu de dom zomai deni wararoro ge danukanehum.
Agwahya no wanda de gadaratsra wiyaha. Dana dosa zero zuzi wagarezo.
Anguri hunya, kanadakta ezot kudina gerenyo, toan di jadora de. Dohum zahun yo snore ang dayo kwate. Yot kwenya siya kan heyate. Kaya danoru ne giga de hum tane.
Okay, so I need to search the area here. So indigenous peoples, obviously, like many were hunters. Eastern woodlands people were not they were not nomadic. They did not follow, at least during this period, did not follow, for instance, herds of, oh man, it noticed me. Okay. They didn't follow like herds of buffalo or anything along those lines. Buffalo had been, at this point, were basically pushed very far west. But hunting is still a major feature of eastern woodlands. I mean, again, it's because of the lush area. There's a lot of wildlife, so rabbits, deer, especially white-tailed deer. Plenty of things to hunt. Okay, can I?
Okay. Ande wadu negen. Jojera tu onektia setari dinume guja darorox negundirio. Dio sumagaru de the what's gone hunkwa.
I always find it funny when these video games have these like hunting things where like you press a button to skin it, because the idea is that it provides realism. But like obviously if you were skinning that could be like, hours. Especially if you weren't very good at it, and so instead it's just you hit a button, boom, you have a skin. It's just kind of halfway between realism and just surrealism, and I just find it very kind of funny. Okay, I have to select a tool. Wait, what am I selecting? And hold Y to hold Y to place a snare on the ground. Okay, so I need to go to tools. Okay, here we go. And then Y to place it on the ground. Okay. Oh, hold Y. Okay. Sorry again, y'all. Learning curve. Ratonhnhaké. Come on, let's go.
Kanto zat karhara.
He's just like walking. Okay.
You yanere. Help jade nyanda ne zaha gario dawana ye deniena. Tini gariwes you genir hare.
Okay. So I guess we track a deer. Alright, here we go.
To idawes. So de sanios niza ona.
Ya, kaya gwire danu gahure au naya anga daksa de ne ganehum. Negi gas kaya da gesnu sage angats de zi anjena. Onak tis kena su a ange. Toga oskenundu ayungeniga.
I don't understand that one. I mean, the musket I would get, but like the idea that an arrow would ruin the meat, I'm not sure where that's coming from. I think that's more of a to get you to practice your assassination skills as Connor, you know. You can bait animals. Okay, so let's try to see if I can bait them closer with. Well, hold on, that's money. Okay, that's bait. Okay, let's see if I can do it.
Ona deni roroke zino hoda de yodon zohum.
Okay, then. Did it just say deer? It's interesting to me because like it just says deer. It doesn't say whitetail or anything, thing like that. It also looks like a funky deer. I don't know. Okay. So, indigenous peoples at this time, there would have been hunting and gathering. There also would have been a degree of agriculture taking place. There were not large-scale cash crop farms like you would find in the southern Virginia colonies, but there would have been some farming. So I will fully admit, I looked up some of the playthroughs on YouTube to make sure that it wasn't my computer, just like my PC really struggling with the graphics. No, this is the remastered version. It is what it looks like. I'm never really sure why they do remastered versions that they don't, you know what I mean? Like, it's just halfway between like a remake and just a re-release, you know? So, okay, so I actually have to go hunting. Okay, well let's see if I can, I might just use the quickest one, would probably be the bow, so that's what I'm probably going to do. Okay. Okay. Oh, missed that. Okay. Wait, did I think I hit her. Maybe not. Oh boy, I really hate these collect this many of a mission, but okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Nope, nope. They notice pretty quick when you drop aim on them. That's okay. What about? Nope. All right. I'm running out of arrows here, so I need to be careful. Can I? I just ran up on that one, just kind of, you know. Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, one just ran by me. Okay. All right. Well, I suppose this is a good time to chat while I'm hunting. Yeah. So again, I was surprised that they didn't mention Pontiac's War. It was pretty significant and in a lot of ways ties directly into the revolution. I mean, it is one of the grievances listed against, like, King George, is that, he's basically stifled the colonies, that he's not allowing them to expand westward. Because again, the crown is in such great debt. There was an understanding that the 7 Years' War, which we were just talking about, had really okay, here, where's my weapon here? 7 Years' War. Oh, that was a miss. Okay, got him. The 7 Years' War had really kind of almost bankrupted the British crown, and it was, many people thought, especially in Britain, that this was all basically on behalf of the colonists, right? That it was because of or to protect them from the French that the war had been waged in the first place, they argued. So taxation, it was seen as kind of non-controversial for the colonists to at least, like, oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I'm just going to be running around and see if I can catch one. Okay, maybe this is not a good technique. Might just come up here and stake out a spot. So the colonists essentially, it was on their behalf that the crown had basically launched these wars, against the French, against the Native Americans during Pontiac's War. And so the argument was like, oh, this was done on behalf of, like, British colonists. So it is incumbent, they argued, on the colonists to basically pay for their to pay for, like, help pay the balance of the war. And yeah, I wonder if we're gonna get any more insight into that as we continue on with the playthrough. The 7 Years' War again was massive. It wasn't just fought in colonial British America. It was fought across the globe. As far as the Philippines, the conflict manifested. Okay, let me see if I can actually do good to sneak up here. Okay, there we go. Manifested across British America, and it was pretty substantial. So again, the debt on the crown was very real. And after the 7 Years' War, there is this period of, like, the crown beginning to want to flex its muscles for about a century, since the Glorious Revolution, as it was called in 1688. There has been, like, the crown had generally kind of ignored the British colonies. They were seen as kind of, for lack of a better term, backwards, but they were also seen as relatively profitable, and they became more profitable. And so there's this period of what's been called, like, benign or salutary neglect, where the crown recognized the colonies as British, but I think I killed a baby deer. I don't feel great about that. But it was basically a period of salutary neglect. The crown had not really tried to intrude upon the colonies very much. It had allowed the colonies to more or less govern themselves through local assemblies, They had many times forms of early kind of semi-democratic processes in a lot of these settlements, like Massachusetts. But the crown had generally just kind of nodded, like, okay, we're fine, but we're not going to try to exert a lot of control over you. You just basically recognize you're British. And after the 7 Years' War, there's a lot of patriotism about being British. They had just defeated the French, right? This massive conflict, gained all this land. But that was quickly souring. And part of that had to do with the crown's new decision to, like, tax the colonists to help them pay for this admittedly incredibly expensive war that had just been waged. Uh-oh, something's going on. Oh boy. Okay. Oh, I can't see anything. Do I just... Oh, I have to escape from it. Okay. I have to see if I can go up into the trees. I've always heard bears are excellent climbers, though, so I'm not sure if that's really helpful. But... Okay, return to the village. See if I can just stick to the trees for a while. Get away from the bear, Okay, that should be good. Yeah, I'm not sure where this village is. I think we're still supposed to be in Western Massachusetts, but I'm not 100% sure.
Agua gets Ratonhnhaké. Was geht Nyagante? Nyawa.
I'm the Jahtandi ona. I was the Ratonhnhaké who didn't go Rayanda, ne? Tino Jera Yah Ezo de Tiena.
Nexiato deot.
Oh, Niot.
Rat Dukhawa Hagari Hunya.
Okay. So, let's see if we can do one more mission here, kind of move us through Connor's teenage years. I feel like this is a very I don't know if this counts as prologue. I feel like this counts as prologue still, and we're about 4 hours into this. So it's a very slow-paced game. Okay, this must be the clan mother. All right. So just sit by the fire. Okay. Okay. She's talking about why they don't join the other Mohawk in war.
Yohunjanorunge, Yunguadenadayan, Danune, Amha Junguaderi Wayani, ne Ayatia se Danisege, Unjunhuza.
Arahaja Zidogane Gando, Ayatiri Hune Kiswas, Saha Odisas Tasirayanda, ne?
Yunguadora is in a tonaya de Wayer Hage. Yunguayat Dodarhe, Zinogayera, ne de Tiswa Neda. Danu ne dogat to no de waire yot deru ayungwa jonha se.
Onujera Zitoni Yori Hawana ne I the wada den hodu. Hoda Tiga.
Kan hoha.
Oyane?
Greetings, Guardian.
Are you a spirit?
You may think of me as such.
Where am I?
You are where you were before. If you mean to ask what it is you now see, it is known as the Nexus. From here, probabilities are calculated so that the proper path may be chosen.
What path?
Yours. Follow me.
Okay. A little bit of a kind of dream sequence type situation.
What have you done to me?
Selected a form familiar to your culture. It is designed to ease navigation.
Oh, okay.
We have waited millennia for your arrival. You, who will bring to him the last piece, that he may open the door.
Oh,
I do
jeez.
not understand.
Nor need you. I sense my words cause pain. But such was not my intention. You are important, child, in more ways than you will ever know. As we speak, forces gather in secret, preparing to seize control of the land. If they succeed, the sanctuary will be breached. Yours is a special lineage. Past, present, future. Many are connected to you. Many who have changed the world, who will change the world. So too shall you. I have called you here that you might know your duty. You must protect the sanctuary from those who would undo our work.
What sanctuary? What work?
Maintaining your current course will result in a negative outcome. Premature access will destabilize the region. Your village and its people will be destroyed.
Okay. So, I do always find it interesting the like supernatural stuff that they put in
What am I to do?
these games.
You will learn of a man who will provide additional training. Seek this symbol. No
And-
doubt you have many questions. Time will see them answered. For now, you must follow. Leading is for later.
So, yeah, I always find it weird when like Assassin's Creed has these supernatural elements that they introduce because it's always related to their really terrible overarching world plot where the world's being destroyed basically and only you can save it, which is this, in my opinion, a very stupid premise. Like, I don't understand why we need more motivation for Connor here. I feel like I read a post about exactly this on like Reddit or something about where someone says Connor has like way too much motivation as a character. And I kind of get this. Like, we already hate Charles Lee. We already have a reason to go after the Templars. We already have we have a reason to go after the Templars because our father is a Templar. Like, and then, you know, like left, there's reasons enough. And now we have to do this to save the world. Yeah, but I always find it weird when they do the supernatural elements because I never think the games need it. And I also find it weird that how the Assassin's Creed likes to turn all gods in various cultures into basically the same gods. They do this with like, you know, Roman gods. They do this with I know recently like the Viking gods, the Norse gods. So
Adun hets wagena duni. What garo di rungwe daya jadatka. Ahagena dun hase onio di akande. Tantune tigaro nungwe. Easy na gahanda di tunes. Gariwe siwagaderiandere. Tanu ize gi oni. Arahajo ziza detni go rizu ne dosa seri wayena.
Jungar haratstone ayedewa dunhunjanuna nexti da sheri de nise. De ot danu haje hunjage danoya taundo ayungwa da se dunhage.
Ya ka atagitskoda dano agader harda dene ayede wa wanda ne.
Wat gunya dodari sigi owadu era osete.
Ohnujera di desaderi huadeniani.
Aze goya takweni daguri huadeni. Yahasa giga. Ase tari jina hoda zesaksit kada kunegas. Tonu e dagatka tone gari huayernitsto. Ne egi garun gwera hawi o yashnena zinio zizatnista hawa shagoshnena.
Yama.
Seria sadoga, nekti gets hani sudzi ezos are harde. Was sezakane gari huayronitstu, satahatsari.
Okay. Sequence 4 complete. So I guess we'll have a slight time skip here in a second, I would bet. But yeah, I never understand when they try to collapse all cultures into like the same gods. I find that I find that very lazy, if I'm being honest.
Fill me with a sort of pride, a sense of accomplishment. But whatever it was that carried me away from home soon fled, replaced by questions and no small amount of doubt. Had I been too hasty? Had I made a mistake? The others in the village, they thought this was something I wanted, something I chose to do. But it never felt that way to me. No, it was not a choice. It was an obligation. Because if not me, then who?
I don't understand the point. Two things. I don't really understand that voiceover because, like, the idea is you're reliving your memories of an ancestor. Like, was Connor monologuing to himself? And if so, why was it in English? Was it? Yeah. Anyway, straight. Also, I feel like that information, like, I feel like we could have got that through context. Like, oh, he's very unsure. He's going off on his own. Like, there's ways to like show that narratively. I don't know. I'm being picky here. I'm being mean. I shouldn't be too picky on it, but I don't know. Sometimes whenever somebody has like a monologue, I just kind of roll my eyes because I'm like, what is this? How necessary was this? Okay, now I need to figure out how to like get over there. Oh boy. Okay, let me look at my map here. You know what? Actually, we'll go ahead and call it for this episode. I feel like this is a good stopping point. So we'll go ahead and call it here, and then thank you all for tuning in. We will pick up right here on the next episode of Historian Reacts. So thank you all very much. Get the mouse here. All right. Thank you.